In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Praise is due to Almighty Allah, Lord of the world. May the peace and benediction of Almighty Allah be upon His noble messenger Muhammad, his infallible household, the faithful ones among his companions, and those who follow them sincerely till the day of judgment. Welcome to another interesting episode of Beyond Borders, as we come your way once again to delve into the ongoing aggression against the Islamic Republic of Iran by the Zionist regime of Israel and the United States. And we are extraordinarily privileged to have in our midst one of the most distinguished scholars in both religion and secular, who is going to brighten the darkness, to enlighten the obscure about whatever we are going to discuss as far as the ongoing skirmishes are concerned. He is no other person than Dr. Abdul Husain Ishaq. He is a lecturer, a senior lecturer at the Islamic University College, Ghana, and a former head of department for the study of religions. And we use this humble medium to welcome him to the studio. Doc, you are warmly welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So fast forward, as I indicated earlier on, we wish to specifically deal with the ongoing aggression by the Zionist regime of Israel and the United States against the Islamic Republic of Iran. So in that, on that note, Doc, what in your view precipitated this ongoing aggression against the Islamic Republic of Iran?
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. From the outset, we need to understand that this conflict or this war has nothing to do with religion. Let's make that one clear. It has nothing to do with religion.
Okay.
It's a historical problem that started over 50 years ago. If you look at the history of Iran, I always told people, many people don't really understand how United Nations was formed. Okay, the first meeting that was held to discuss the formation of United Nations was held in Tehran.
I see.
See, and then it was called Persia. That means by that time, Persia, this current Iran, was a superpower. It was among the nations that had power to take decisions and guard those decisions. So it was among the signatories, the first Muslim countries to be signatory to the United Nations.
To the formation of the United Nations?
Yes, the first meeting that was held to form United Nations was held in Tehran.
Wonderful.
Okay, and today Iran is a rogue state. What brings that? So I've just given you some brief fact that we need to take back and then understand where this problem comes from. So fast forward, we all know the 1950s when the Mohammed Massaidi was the president. Okay, I'm not going back to the Shah because that was a very dangerous period. So because Iran were Muslims, Iranians were Muslims, but they were living like Westerners. Alcohol was even abundant, and people were even having sex in the open until people started becoming disgruntled. And Iranian oil under that regime was that 40% was given to British government, and the British also gave it to BP to handle all the oil business in Iran. And so all the money, even the money that was supposed to pay to Iranians who were working there, they were not receiving this salary.
Interesting.
Okay, so the royalties that were supposed to be paid to the Iranian government was not being paid. And so when people started agitating, and Muhammad Masadi came, and he was living like a common life among the Iranians, and they felt he was one of them, and so they brought him. Around 1951, the parliament rectified his presidency, and he nationalized Iranian oil. Why did he do that? He questioned the British, because the British brought in America. So he questioned them to let the government of Iran audit the oil revenue to know how Iranians are enjoying their oil. Britain refused. Okay? So when Britain refused, he nationalized the oil. He nationalized everything, took everything back to Iran. And that's what they organized internally to disorganize the government until he was overthrown. He was put in prison and removed and put in a house arrest until he died in the house arrest. And then the Sheikh also came. Yeah. They brought Sheikh and they trained him. Sheikh mortgaged the whole control on the oil in Iran and the gas to the Americans and the British. Okay. So they were now controlling what was for Iran and what was for the West. As a result, actually, if you go into detail of Shah's life, he used to tell us even sometimes his lunch comes from Switzerland or Britain or US. His meals were coming from the West. That was the kind of life he was living, and Iranians became disgruntled again. And they started rushing, and they rise up, and Imam Khomeini, God sent Imam Khomeini to liberate Iran. Now, along that time, Iran and Israel were allies. They even had a diplomatic representation in their countries. They even shared security. Mossad was there, and Iran also had Savad. Okay, and so they were sharing information. They knew each other very well. They dealt with each other, and America helped Israel to establish certain scientific basis in Iran.
I see.
Iran paid a lot of money, up to around $4 billion. Unfortunately, when Imam Khomeini came, they hadn't done what they were supposed to do, and so Israel didn't pay that money back. So that conflict was simmered. Iran had a grudge with Israel, and Israel also had grudge with Now, in a nutshell, the current war is not necessarily the nuclear issue.
Okay.
Combinations of issues.
Okay.
Some oil issues, some domestic issues.
Okay.
So we need to understand how this will operate, the international system operates, especially the Bretton Woods.
Yes. Okay.
Why was it established? And why didn't they put it anywhere but put it in the U.S.? Why did they allow to U.S. to use the U.S. dollar as the medium of commerce for Bretton Woods? Okay, what exactly does U.S. bring to the world market apart from the dollar? Okay, so there are so many factors that precipitated this current war. One of the factors is that, let me go to the domestic.
Okay.
Trump has a group of Christian fundamentalists in the U.S. Trump.
Okay.
Who campaigned for him seriously. Now, he constantly meets these people, and these people made him to believe that he representing God on earth here. Okay, and so he's supposed to facilitate the extermination of the non-Jews, especially Muslims. Okay, and because they cannot do that, the only Muslim country that has stood out completely and show its Islamic nature is Iran. That is one factor. Okay. Now, the second factor is Trump wants to, rejuvenate the dollar market. And you see, the dollar cannot be rejuvenated unless there's war. So that everybody ran to buy a dollar and reserve. Okay, that's another problem.
That is the financial
aspect. Yes, the financial aspect.
I see.
Another aspect domestically is about the oil.
Okay.
The U.S. wants Iran's oil because Iran oil is one of the purest and it's a large quantity. And so U.S. feel is missing Iran oil. And with the current leadership in Iran, they don't foresee any idea they can bring to the table so that Iran can sell oil to them.
I see.
And so the only way they can do it is to make sure that Iran leaves, the current leaders leave power. Okay. And so they want to control the world today.
Okay.
And they have no means of controlling the world unless they use the oil, because oil is the key commodity in the whole world.
Yeah.
Even those who sell ride motorcycle, they use oil.
Absolutely.
Those who make cakes, they use oil.
Yes.
Electricity is run on oil.
Yes.
Everything is run on oil. If America controls the whole oil, the world's oil, it controls the whole world. So after annexing Venezuela,
Yes,
the only country with the largest deposit of oil is Iran, who is considered an enemy. And so they thought by just finishing Venezuela, they will finish Iran this way. Now, the other factor is Israel has a problem with Iran because they have a larger agenda to annex so much land.
You mean Israel?
Yes, to make a greater Israel.
Okay.
Now, the biggest problem they have is Iran. Okay. Iran is the only country that can withstand Israel. And so the best is either they eliminate Iran or they weaken the state of Iran. So that whatever plan they want to do, Iran can no longer resist. Because if they weaken Iran, all the resistance movements will be diminished because they will not have the backing again. They will not have resources to resist. Okay, and that's the reason why Iran is a serious threat to U.S. and Israel. Now, I'm sorry to say this, even though we have been reading so many things. One of the biggest problems we have is the Arab leaders.
Okay.
There are so many theories, conspiracy theories, that most of the Arab leaders, especially Saudi and Kuwait, they call them crypto Jews.
Yeah, okay.
And they are not pure Arabs.
I see.
They originate from Jews' blood.
I see.
And I tend to buy into that because after the conquest of Mecca, there were so many Jews in Arabia. Where did they go to? They were assimilated into the Muslim community. They accepted Islam. Even though they were Jews, they accepted Islam. And in the open, they practiced Islam. But inside their own family homes, they practiced Jewish religion. Okay. And these are the things. If you go to internet or any social media, you will see even Muslim names against Islam.
Yeah.
Okay. And you wonder what is happening. These are the Jews.
Absolutely.
The crypto Arabs. They are the crypto Jews.
Interesting.
And so these are the things. That is why even the leaders in the Emirates, they are all considered the same line because they were brought by the British.
I see.
Okay, there was nobody in Arabia. The British wanted to have a say in Arabia. They demarcated the whole of Arabia with France.
Yes.
Okay. So Britain took Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the rest, and then France took Syria, Lebanon, and and they demarcated them. They implanted all these leaders in there, and therefore they know the history of the people they brought there, and that is why those leaders will always be with the West.
Mm.
Okay, and so the agenda, the international agenda that we can talk about is Israel. Israel wants to expand, and they cannot expand with the existence of Iran, because Iran is the only country supporting the resistance movement. And so when they weaken Iran, it means they have weakened the source of the resistance movement. And Lebanon, Syria, and part of even Saudi Arabia, Turkey, are part of the land they want to. Iran is not part of it.
I see.
So these other countries are part of the land Israel want to annex.
You mean the Israeli regime, the current Israeli regime, have earmarked this geographical boundaries?
Yes.
Even to Turkey?
Yes. Even part of Saudi Arabia.
Interesting.
And where they want to annex, even Mecca and Medina are part of it.
Interesting.
Okay? And so it's a huge agenda. It's known in many experts in the Gulf region or Israeli-Arab issue, they know.
I see.
That this is a complex issue, a complex agenda that Israel is pursuing. And now, if they fail to defeat Iran, it means that agenda is dead. Okay? And that the resistance you see Iran advancing in this war, they know the agenda. They know currently they are the one keeping the flag of this area. If they fall, that's the end, because Turkey cannot fight them. Because Turkey is a member of NATO.
NATO, absolutely.
And so before Turkey can do anything, they has to get permission from NATO. And NATO will never give them the chance.
Absolutely.
So these are the issues that precipitated this war.
Wow.
Now, currently, Trump knew he was losing the economic front.
Okay.
And he also knew he was losing internal politics because of the Epstein files. Okay. And so it is a very serious issue in America. And I can show you, after everything has died down and Trump leaves power, he's going to face legal cases for the rest of his life.
I see.
It's not a simple issue. And so Trump needed something to engage the world and the American people away from these files. That's why he has hired people, they are doctoring the files so that people cannot see what really happened. Unfortunately, many people have the original copies. Okay, and so that issue is also there. Unfortunately, he's losing the domestic one, and he's also losing the market side, because many countries, spearheaded by Canada, are now forming a new group where they will trade with each other instead of trading with the United States of America. It means they will compromise on a particular medium of exchange, and dollar will be weakened. It means the power of America is gradually collapsing. Wow. This is the issue. Now, on the part of Israel, okay, Netanyahu has so many cases in the court. And on the political front, he's also losing. There's a new breed coming up in Israel, forming a coalition to topple him. He knows it. And so, in fact, it is his interest that the war continues. The moment the war stops, Netanyahu is no more. And so he wants to engage fighting, killing other people just for his own survival.
Interesting.
This is what is going on.
I see. So just a follow-up question. So with the analysis you've given so far, some will ask if the territorial boundaries of the Islamic Republic of Iran has not been earmarked or is not among the territories earmarked by Israel for expansionism. So why does Iran spend all these energy, resources against Israeli occupation in defense of Palestine and having a military alliance with Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, Hamas in Gaza, and then the Popular Mobilization Front in Iraq, and so on and so forth.
Houthis.
And the Houthis.
Yeah. The reason is simple.
Okay.
If you look through what Imam Khomeini left behind, especially the main theme of Imam Khomeini is to liberate the oppressed. It's a very key point in Iranian philosophy. Let everybody live peacefully, regardless their religion. That is the main philosophy of Iran. Let everybody live peacefully, whether they are Jews, they are Christians, they are who. Let everybody live peacefully, regardless their religion. No one should oppress anyone.
I see.
Okay?
I see.
Now that fact built the foreign policy of Iran. Okay? And that's the reason why you find people are whenever I say that Hezbollah, they are not 100% Shia.
Okay.
There are Sunnis among them.
Okay.
Okay? There are Sunnis among Hezbollah.
Okay.
Because many of their fighters they are former Palestinians.
Okay. I see.
You get it. They are Palestinians who were expelled. They have joined Hezbollah. And Hezbollah is not 100% Shia.
I see.
They have Sunnis. You get the point?
Yes.
And so, the issue of Hezbollah, Palestinians, Houthis, and the rest is a concern to Iran, because that is how they build their philosophy.
Okay. I see.
That in their constitution, we are supposed to, our foreign policy, we must help those who are fighting for self-determination.
I see.
And self-determination is recognized under international law. We have not come to the third point you are going to raise.
Okay.
Okay. And so, if you look at Iran, they help ANC. They help almost all the countries, including Venezuela.
ANC is South Africa?
Yes.
During the apartheid?
Iran financed them. ANC. They finance them. They help them train some of their fighters.
I see.
Okay? They help Venezuela. They help Brazil. They help most of the countries in the South America.
I see.
All those, they felt they were oppressed and they needed help. They helped.
I see.
They were not doing it because they wanted them to become Muslims, no. Or to become Shia, no. Because this is where they build the philosophy around. We need to help all those who are oppressed to get their own independence and self-determination. That's the reason why you find them helping these people. They are not necessarily Shia. Okay. They are not necessarily Shia. Even Houthis, they have Shia, they have Muslims, Sunnis.
I see.
They are all there.
MashaAllah.
Okay.
MashaAllah. Well, thank you so much for the wonderful intellectual analysis so far. You have indeed brightened the darkness, because many people, including myself, have been asking this question: why Iran is spending all these energy resources, but until now we've never understood that was the part of the foreign policy stand of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Thank you so much for the enlightenment. So now, do you think the ceasefire mediation will lead to a permanent cessation of hostilities in the region?
If I want to give quick answer, I will say no.
Okay, why?
Why? Because the proposal from both sides, let me say, the proposal from there are three fronts.
Okay.
Iran, US, and Israel.
Okay.
Because Israel is chipping in his proposal.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. They are far apart. Okay. US wants the nuclear issue, nuclear enrichment or uranium enrichment to be part of the discussion. Iran says it's off the table.
Okay. Until
everything is settled. Iran wants guarantee before it can open the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay.
Without guarantee, it will not open.
Okay.
US want it to open before they discuss. Iran wants the US to lift sanction, okay, on Iran, so that as part of the deal. US want to keep the sanction until they finalize the discussion. Iran wants US to pay reparation because of what we call the war reparation, because they have destroyed targets that are not meant to be targets in terms of war. You know, under international law of armed conflict, humanitarian laws of armed conflict, you are not supposed to target educational facilities.
Civilian infrastructure.
Infrastructure. You are not supposed to target civilians. Okay. Bricks you are attacking to brick is not allowed. Water system you are attacking is not allowed. So they are compiling all this to present to International Criminal Court for reparation. Okay. And it's going to hold because they have violated the laws. If you look at the whole war as we have it now, Iran did not violate any law.
So just to chip in, so do you mean to say even if the ceasefire succeeds, there is going to be they will open there will be an international legal battle again?
Oh yes. As we talk now, even there are some American lawyers who are helping the Iranian government to put all these things together with the pictures.
I see. Wow.
With pictures to take United States to court.
Interesting.
For violating war laws.
Interesting.
Okay. So coming back to the question.
Yes.
So you're looking at the proposal they put on the table. Israel is saying that all the uranium rich stuff should be removed from Iran.
Interesting.
All the facilities dismantled. All the missile facilities should be destroyed. Otherwise, there will be no ceasefire. There will not be peace. Okay. So if you look at all these things, so it's like you are saying Iran is not an independent state. Every state has the right to arm itself.
Absolutely.
In fact, Article 51 of United Nations very clearly stated every independent state has the right
self-defense.
To self-defense.
I see.
So how do you defend yourself when you are not armed? It hasn't defined what arms you should have before you can defend yourself. Okay. If somebody is having a nuclear weapons, you should arm yourself to the point that you can defend the nuclear threat.
I see.
So it is not defined what kind of arms you should have.
I see.
Okay? So Iran has the right to arm itself to any level because Article 51 just made it very clear. So if somebody is building nuclear weapons, you must do something that can make you also defend yourself when the person brings out the nuclear weapon. Unless there is a conspiracy to undermine your existence.
I see.
And that's the point. So it's so critical that they compromise. But how the compromise is going to be is very difficult. You know, currently, U.S. has no alternative.
Okay.
They use the military to threaten people. They use the economy to threaten people. You know, as the realist theory always say, that realism believes in the power politics.
Yeah, power politics.
Okay. Yeah. And the power is considered as interest.
Yeah.
What is interest? Interest is about security and the economy. Okay. So when we talk about power, we are talking about the military power, the economic power, and the political power. If you don't have the political power, even whatever you do, you're saying cannot do anything. If you have the economic power and you don't have the military power, the political power, you can't say anything. Look at Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
They have the money, but they can't say anything. They have economic power, but they don't have the power that can coerce somebody to understand what they want or to do what they want. So you must have these powers. economic power, the military power, the political power to be able to become a superpower.
I see.
Okay, and now that United States has used all the machines that can threaten a country to succumb, and they see that Iran is not succumbing, it means there's no any other alternative.
I see.
What is there now is not there. And that's why they were calling in the allies to come and help. And the reason why they could not help is what I've told you. It has nothing to do with the uranium enriched material in Iran. If it was that was the reason why they went there, the Europeans would have come back.
Including NATO?
Yes, they would have come to join the United States.
I see.
But the NATO and the European Union, they have realized that it has nothing to do with the uranium. It has something to do with how Israel wants to expand. And how Epstein files is also eating up Trump, which they try to to steer people away from that. Okay, and so that's the problem. As we talk now, it is going to be very difficult for the ceasefire to work unless they work out some other modalities and they compromise on certain things. All sides should compromise on certain things. Otherwise, it is not going to work.
Okay, I see. So you've just answered the third question. So, but I think considering what you've just elaborated so far, so what are the key areas do you think maybe both sides can compromise that will lead to a permanent cessation of hostilities?
As I said, if it was the nuclear threat from Iran, it would have been very easy because it has ever happened.
Okay.
I think around 2014.
Okay.
2014, 2015, it happened.
Okay.
And then Iran removed all the enriched uranium.
Yeah, the JCPOA.
Yes, to Russia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it was that, it will be very easy. Okay. Iran can still do it because they don't have any interest in building a nuclear bomb.
I see.
Okay. But that is not the interest. The underlying issue is the personal interest of these two leaders, Netanyahu and Trump.
I see.
And that's why the compromise is the problem of the compromise is.
I see.
Okay.
I see.
Iran can never, give in any way that will undermine its integrity and its sovereignty.
I see.
And I support that. Because every independent country is supposed to exist independently, whether you have allies or not.
I see.
If you look at the realist theory, they say that states, they strive and struggle for power in the international system. And when they start struggling for the power, and they do it in any means, whether it is through diplomacy, through war, they do it. They don't care about the ending. And that when they start pursuing the power, international law cannot stop it. No government can stop it. And that's why you find this fire burning. Everybody knows that it is wrong, but no one has the courage to stop it.
Interesting.
Because every state is pursuing that power, that interest. Iran is pursuing the interest because they have legacy to protect.
I see.
As I told you, Iran has a legacy. I've said, United Nations, when they conceived the idea to form the United Nations, the first meeting was held in Tehran. It means Iran has a stake. And that's what I've told you. Throughout this war, I've observed everything. Iran has not broken any law. If Iran wanted to destroy Israel, he would have finished Israel by now. But Iran went for strategic areas that are military oriented. Okay, while these people were targeting civilian infrastructure, Iran was targeting the military infrastructure. Look at the Gulf area. Iran targeted the military installations. And when those people were going to make noise, Iran said, no, I'm not targeting you. I'm targeting US. You see, the law is that if you allow a belligerent, a combatant in your territory to use your territory to attack another country, the whole of your territory become part of the war. So even Iran can strike anywhere in those countries, and it's still part of the war, and he's not breaking the law. That is the law.
I see.
It's just like when we are neighbors. Every day you are throwing stones in my house. What do I do? Should I sit there?
At all.
I also throw stones.
Absolutely.
Will I know where the stone will land?
Not at all.
No. So that's how the law says. If you allow your territory to be used to attack another territory, your territory has become the battleground.
Mashallah.
They know it. Should they do it? And Iran specifically went for the military installations and did not attack any other places.
I see.
But for them, they were attacking civilian structure. And so Iran is documenting all this with videos and photographs. At the end of the war, it will go to court.
Mashallah. Wow, thank you so much for this wonderful, enlightening discourse. We are indeed privileged to have Dr. Abdul Husain Ishaq, a lecturer and then former head of department for the study of religions at the Islamic University College, Ghana. And we use this humble medium to once again express our sincere thanks and gratitude for coming in to respond to these perplexing questions regarding the ongoing skirmishes, the ongoing aggression by the Zionist regime of Israel and then the United States against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We've all heard him, and we have indeed learned a lot. But what will be your last statement? And I would have liked to hear something like a word of admonishment for especially we, the youth, to be able to invest our attention and resources into learning both local, regional, and global issues. So what do you say about that?
Yeah, I have two issues. One is it's always good if you look at the policy of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You know, if you look at how he established diplomacy, many people didn't know what he was doing until later stage when we went into diplomacy, and then we realized that the man was a real diplomat.
Mashallah.
Yes, he was a real diplomat.
Mashallah.
Just look at even when he was so young and his hateful for do.
Yeah.
He got involved, solved a problem when he was nobody. And it later stages came to help him. Because that agreement was the one the uncle was quoting to the Quraysh. You want us to kill Muhammad, but you sign an agreement with Hiful that if you kill somebody, the whole group of the clan that signed the agreement should attack you. How can we do it? Okay? But look at that young age. He was able to initiate that. Now we are now knowing that he was a diplomat. Okay? And so young people should pick interest in knowing exactly what happens in our surroundings. And also know the international issue. They should study, they should learn, follow these discussions. They will understand what is happening. Actually, it has nothing to do with religion. This is purely greed. Okay? Now, I also want to say something about Islamic Republic of Iran. Iran has made us proud. Iran is creating a balance of power in the world today. At the end of the war, people are now going to include Iran as the powers in the world.
At the end of the war?
At the end of the war.
Iran is going to emerge
as a power.
Mashallah.
Because whatever is happening, they can never remove anything from Iran. And if they fail to remove anything from Iran, then Iran remains a power. And the Europeans will deal with Iran. The whole world will deal with Iran. That's what has made me happy.
Thank you so much. We once again thank our eminent scholar, and by the unbounded grace of Almighty Allah, we will create an opportunity to have him once again, because the discussion kept interesting. So for that matter, we will reschedule another time to have him continue with the enlightenment. Thank you so much. Till we meet another time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.